you know what I'm really realizing about all of this is that this is probably intentional to drum up some hysteria and some news about the Young Turks. Like obviously they're getting a quick hit from this, 14.8 million views on Anna's original tweet. If it's something that's being used by Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and libs of TikTok, then yeah, they're going to get a lot of stupid people on board with this. It's a wonderful day in the homiehood, a wonderful day for a homie. Won't you be my homie to Taro? Now, Anna Kasparian is somebody that I don't dislike. She is a progressive. She's been a good advocate. She works for TYT, which is the Young Turks. The Young Turks serves a great function in the climate of YouTube and BreadTube because they move a lot of liberals towards the left. For myself, when I was in university, I would watch Young Turks at night because it was basically like CNN except it was more progressive. It's a lot of American focused news, and I think Anna Kasparian has had a great career, and they contribute towards a net positive of the climate of progressivism in the US. I like the Humanist Report more than I like Anna. The Humanist Report is also part of the TYT network, I believe. At least they were once upon a time. I'm not sure if they still are. But I also like Mike at the Humanist Report. Mike actually, the Humanist Report and the Young Turks was kind of what started me on the quest to be a YouTuber myself and to be a streamer because they got me involved and I felt that they just had a better take towards politics. However, this tweet, which has been viewed by 14.5 million, I guess, accounts, it doesn't, not necessarily people, but it says here, I'm a woman. Please don't refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, a person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. So, on first take, you might say, yeah, it might be degrading to refer to a woman as a uterus or a birthing person or a person who menstruates because it's boiling a woman down to one of their biological functions. And this would be very misogynistic in another context. Right? So, of course, yeah, it would be really gross if we simply referred to women as somebody with a uterus or a birthing person, or simply like the fact that their primary function would be to give birth to other humans. Yes, that would be misogynistic. However, people don't really use it in this way. When we're talking about a birthing person or a person who menstruates, a person with a uterus, we're not usually referring to women. We're referring to trans people who have a specific identity. And yes, you can be a trans man, for example, and have a uterus, right? So it's really just making a distinction, usually in a medical way, to be like, okay, well, what kind of care does this person need? And sometimes that's going to be the care of somebody who has a certain biological function, and that's all that this is really referring to. It's not saying let's start referring to all people with a uterus as birthing people, right? It's not. It's completely taking an issue that doesn't exist and making a big deal about it. So I don't, for the life of me, understand why Anna is taking this time to to put this unnecessary spotlight on trans people when really, like that is the fight that you're choosing to fight right now in this political climate when conservatives and, the far right are actively calling for trans genocide. This is the issue you're going to take. So this comes off very much like TERF ideology, right? Because it's like Anna Kasparian, who I actually would say is a feminist. Often when we say the word TERF, trans exclusionary reactionary feminist, we are talking about people who are not actually feminists, right? Like J.K. Rowling, they're not actually a feminist, but we use the word TERF towards them because they pretend as if they care about the rights of women, and it's actually trans women who are taking away from the rights of women, which is a completely false, contrived, victimizing narrative for J.K. Rowling. So this strikes me as along those lines. Anna Kasparian here is saying that their womanhood, their ability to identify as a woman, is at risk because trans men want to specify that, hey, they have a uterus. And it's actually really gross that the time has been taken out for this, because it's just like, why? Why would you dedicate, of all the issues that are going on right now that are affecting America and by extension, of course, Canada, as we know, why would you take this time to say this? So I love Humanist Report. So what did they say? I respect you a lot, but this notion that the mere existence of trans-inclusive terms, rarely used in casual convos, somehow degrades women comes right out of the right's anti-trans war on women playbook. There's a reason why they're praising you for this. Yeah. And it's like why, Anna? Why would you play into the hands of conservatives for people who are calling for genocide? Why? For the life of me, I have no idea. Hey Mike, you are a guy who has no clue what it's like to have your reproductive freedom taken away. But consider that what it's like to have the same lawmakers who fail to protect our rights turn around and call us people with uteruses. It's not inclusive if cis women hate it. This is so bizarre. Like it's like you're choosing to hate it for all the wrong reasons, though. Like you're it would be like being upset by the reclamation of the word queer, because queer is like a very inclusive term, and then you'd be like, well, I don't feel included as a woman in this term queer, as a straight cis heterosexual woman. I don't feel included in this and I hate it, therefore it's bad, even though it's being used in this very positive way and also in a derogatory way by the far right. It's just like, why? Okay, you instead of siding with the people who are using this in a positive way, you're siding with the people who are using it in the most negative and exclusive way. So what kind of advocacy are you really engaged with here? Humanist Report saying, how many people are actually referring to you using this language? Yeah, and that's the truth of the matter. It's nobody. Nobody is referring to women as birthing bodies on the regular, right? If you were in the same room, in like an operating room, because like this would be purely like kind of like medical use, with like a woman and a trans man who had a uterus, you might refer to the both of them as birthing bodies. But there would really be no reason that you would refer to like a woman specifically, in context that is not medical, as a birthing body. So it's just like, again, it's just creating an issue where there never had to be one. And now Anna Kasparian like is going to get canceled for this, basically. As much as you can cancel anyone in this, day and age, Anna Kasparian, again, I think has done a lot of great work. I respect Anna, but this is just like this is like a almost unforgivable take in a way where Anna is not backing off either. It must be a lot for you to air this grievance in the middle of an international hate crusade against trans people. I'm sure Ben Shapiro retweeting you because he supports your reproductive freedom, though. Okay, so geez, did Ben Shapiro retweet this as well? Yeah, that should be the indication that, hey, maybe I'm on the wrong side of this. The Humanist Report makes a good point. If Ben Shapiro, Libs of TikTok, Jordan Peterson are supporting you, okay, did they all support Anna through this? That is like obviously disgusting. You know, eventually, as we do, you have to kind of look around and be like, hey, am I surrounded by Nazis? And if you are, then maybe, just maybe, you might be on the wrong side. You know? Now, I don't outright think that Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson are Nazis. Maybe Libs of TikTok could be considered a Nazi. Ben Shapiro, obviously a Jewish person, so I wouldn't consider them a Nazi. But, you know, they are part of the far-right media machine that is creating this hysteria around trans people, and they are actively part of a system that is calling for genocide. So in that sense, I would say that they are white supremacists at the very least. It's used by many major institutions, ACLU, CDC, universities, and news agencies, and prominent progressive figures like AOC, and the guilt by association charge is lazy and lame. It's really not, though. What is this? Is this like an Anna Kasparian, like Why I Left the Left arc? Oh yeah, yeah, Ripper. There's probably a Why I Left the Left video coming soon. Yeah, I know. I was literally, as soon as I read this tweet, where she's like, guilt by association is lazy and lame, I'm like, oh dear. It's not about guilt by association. The point is, far-right fascists are using your tweet for anti-trans propaganda purposes. There's no way you're not cognizant of this. I respect you, but this is really disappointing. I genuinely don't get it, actually. So yeah, like, Mike is right. Humanist Report is right. Obviously, support all the way. This is just wild. This is like absolutely wild. Is okay. Anyone else we know here in the comments? Okay. Okay, here's Vaush. I have never heard any of these terms outside a few tweets and PowerPoint screenshots where academics grasp desperately for some inoffensive, inclusive medical terminology. Yeah, so it's just like, so I know Vosh has spoken to Anna, and obviously Mike is you know, potentially, I forget if he still is part of the Young Turks network. So like, these are people who have had direct interactions with Anna, and you know, it's nice to see that they're getting called out here. So good job to Vash and Mike. Anybody else? Hi Anna, no one is asking you to call yourself or be called anything other than a woman. That is true. Anatomy oriented language is used in a clinical context where anatomy is relevant. This argument is like a mousetrap set up by TERFs. Please don't take the bait. Yeah. So, and then here, of course, there's some idiot probably like, hey, well, there's this one example. It's like, okay, great. So the really disappointing part about this as well, Cenk Uygur, who came back, who is part of the, you know, who is like the CEO or whatever of the Young Turks network. Cenk and Anna are very much, you know, they're co-hosts of the TYT network main show. Cenk Uygur also is famously Hassan's the you know, the famous streamer Hassan Abi. It's Hassan's uncle. So I am curious. Let's see if we have any takes from Hassan about this as well. You too. People are just like, I don't know how people are still watching Cenk and Anna in 2023. And then Cenk is like YouTube, Facebook, Pluto, Roku, Samsung, Twitch, almost every other platforms, and of course tyt.com/live. Wow, great. So I'm pretty sure, you know, Cenk came out with some other garbage tweet about this. I think the idea of making excuses for Anna Kasparian is hilarious. I think she is the single best talk show host in America. How do you make excuses for Michael Jordan? Oh, wait a minute, you disagree with her. I mean, she's doing like anti-trans propaganda. So yeah, people are going to disagree with her. Are people really pretending that people who menstruate is a term only used in clinical settings? Pretty much, yeah. AOC uses it and she doesn't appear to be a doctor. So like I love how it's like Anna's opinion is valid because she's a woman, but AOC's opinion is not valid because they're trying to be inclusive of a certain demographic that is being like that people are advocating to commit genocide against. It's like, okay, this is ridiculous. If we all have agreement that it's not what you should call a woman in a non-clinical setting, great. Deal. Let America rejoice. Yeah, but it's like it's the fact that Anna and Cenk are making a big deal about something that there not doesn't need to be a big deal about during a time when people are calling for genocide. It would be like during like the Holocaust and being like, well, you know, I don't know if like we should be specifically referring to Jewish people as Jews or something. It's like I don't know. It's very weird. This kind of patronizing attitude makes people loathe far left extremists. Who the fuck are you to say that Anna should learn what to say? Here is a man explaining to a woman, oh my god, really? What she should call herself. This mansplainer probably pretends to be a progressive. If you think I'm going to tell my female co-host what she can call herself or what words she's allowed to use, you're nuts. And you don't know me. Nobody is saying to do this, Cenk. Like this is just, what I'm really realizing about all of this is that this is probably intentional to drum up some hysteria and some news about the Young Turks. Like obviously they're getting a quick hit from this, 14.8 million views on Anna's original tweet. If it's something that's being used by Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and libs of TikTok, then yeah, they're going to get a lot of stupid people on board with this. Far left extremists, inclusive language is basic. Yeah, I mean, like that is kind of the way that the Young Turks has been going. They did start taking this very kind of like centrist point of view. They used to be, I thought, much more progressive, but they have fallen off quite hard as of late. I just don't fuck with them anymore because like I mean I kind of still fucked with Anna because she would do like decent appearances, like she debated Ben Shapiro. But I think the problem is that when she's doing these interactions with Ben Shapiro is that they might be trading notes on like how do you trend? How do you get the views, and it seems to me like this is purely for the views. It's something that doesn't actually affect them, making their uneducated opinions harmful. Yeah, right. And I love at the same time, Cenk is like, what am I gonna do as a man? Tell my female co-host how to use language, but then it's like, okay, then why is Anna telling advocates of the trans community? Why is Anna telling trans people how they should refer to themselves in like a medical way? Nobody is referring to Anna as like a birthing body, and it's just like if you think that is an actual issue that you want to use your platform for, then I think you are officially a TERF, Anna Kasparian. And honestly, it's just like really disappointing because like Anna has kind of like even been that person who's like, wow, Cenk is unhinged, but at least Anna is still like okay. But now it's like, oh, they're both unhinged, and TYT network is showing once again, perhaps for the final time for a lot of people, that they are not the progressive institution that they once claimed to be.